Kenom spent the next few days answering all the electro messages. Thank you for all your kind words. I'm sorry that I was unable to, etc., etc., etc. Most of his replies were short, as he had so many. He did, however, reply in a more lengthy way to the Vertons. They had sent him several electro gifts and several very moving messages. He told them how happy he was that he had been of some help, etc., etc., and how pleased Central Command was with all the fine work they were doing with the tunnel repairs. He promised then that when he got back to Zimmnel, he would talk to his DNA father to see if something could be done about getting the Vertons back to their home planet, to recognize their plight. He thought something should be done to change their forgotten people status. The message that surprised him the most was the one he received from the sports dome. The message went into a great deal of detail about the changes that were being made there. Body monitors on all the seats in the Flexmaster section, large viewing monitors for Flextoid patrolmen, organic food stations, a permanent music band, a new state-of-the-art competition field, just to name a few. As it was signed by each and every sport lord. Kenom smiled when he read the message. There was nothing they could do for the Vertons when they needed fixing up, but there was always plenty of money to fix up the sports facility. But Kenom held no grudges. His answer was gracious, telling them how happy he was that they were doing so well and wished them further success. He thought for a minute about the essay he had once read on the law of occurrence. Surely he thought that this had been a good example of turning a bad occurrence into a good one. Things had turned out for the Vertons and the Flextons. Perhaps there is something to this theory. Kenom was overwhelmed by all the invitations to parties and special functions he had been invited to since his status as priority patrolman had become known. He received messages from Flexmasters that he had never met, from patrol domes he had never visited. He couldn't help but wonder if he would have been so popular if it had never been found out. But as he had some experience in these matters while traveling with his DNA father, he accepted this as the burden of power. The one message that he liked the best came from Flexmaster Subo. It had been handwritten and hand-decorated. It read, "My dear friend Kenom, I am indeed sorry that you are leaving us so soon. It's hard to believe that the war season is over already. I will never forget the many hour marks we spent talking. Anyone who is so open to new ideas and is willing to view the universe in all its life forms without prejudice is truly a great man. You are that. Plus, you are truly an exceptional Zimmnellian. I know the future for you is a bright one. I will never forget meeting you. Signed, Subo." Kenom read it several times, and he was not only pleased at what it said, but it was pleasing to look at as well. Enew came in interrupting Kenom's thoughts and said, "Well, I think we are pretty much ready to leave. I've shut down most of the electro equipment, and I've sent our stuff over to Central Dome loading platform to be loaded on the nominal module. It should be ready for us to leave tomorrow." "Good," said Kenom. "Thanks. Don't forget my little organic plant," he added. "Don't worry," said Enew. "It's packed in a special organic shipping container." "Good, thanks," said Kenom, as he returned to his message writing. His thought pattern had now been interrupted, and instead of a lengthy reply, he just wrote Subo a quick note, thanking him for his kind words and assuring him that he would also not forget their talks. The next morning, after the final inspection of the mini-dome, Kenom and Enew grabbed what small items were left and got into their module and headed for the Central Dome to say goodbye to Major Finland. Kenom sealed the module so they wouldn't be seen. He never liked to say goodbyes, and he was afraid he might run into one of the Flexmasters or Flexlords on one of the transfer stations. He had already said what needed to be said in his electro messages. Seeing anyone in person would only seem anticlimactic. He preferred to just be gone.